Here we are in London, 15th October 2008. It's quite amazing. 19 years ago, I made a documentary film about the Papuan freedom struggle, and today they launched an international parliamentarian commission to help them win their independence from Indonesia.
I got involved with the struggle for West Papua because Benny and other activists were in Oxford and formed the West Papua campaign, which is based there in my constituency. So I learnt about what was going on, and I've carried that forward in my parliamentary work here. Patrick Kennedy writes, "Dear Mr. Smith, Papuans seeking greater control over their political future should not face violence and repression. I applaud your efforts to increase the awareness about this critically important issue."
West Papua is an extremely rich country. It has enormous natural resources.
America has been very proactive in putting in a military dictatorship in Indonesia in order to get access to the minerals in Indonesia.
Freeport, an American company, is the largest taxpayer to Indonesia.
And if you put the jigsaw pieces together, it's very clear that American corporations were behind the Kennedy administration in forcing the transfer from the Netherlands to Indonesia. These processes were very much illegal.
The important date is August 1969, when Indonesia held the Act of Self-Determination, ironically called the Act of Free Choice. Perhaps we could just consider what actually happened in the Act of Free Choice. 1,026 people were handpicked by the Indonesian government, less than 0.2% of the population. There was no vote by the 1,026 people. They had to reach decisions by a Javanese system known as musyawarah, consensus. This does not allow dissent or opposition. This discussion took place in the presence of the army, the information services, and the government. It was not a valid exercise of self-determination, and it does not justify Indonesian sovereignty over West Papua. I must stress, this is not secession. We don't need to discuss secession. It's an established principle of international law that a colonial people have a right to independence. They have a right to the restoration of their inherent sovereignty that was illegitimately taken by a colonial power. And as you know, colonialism is contrary to the Charter of the United Nations, and it is therefore illegal. What are the implications? I would like to suggest perhaps the following. The first is that there should be a genuine exercise of self-determination in West Papua. The second implication is that Indonesia should not be allowed to dispose of West Papua's resources. They do not belong to Indonesia, which is an occupying power. If we look at West Papua today, we really are looking at a territory that is under military occupation and has been since 1963. It's not possible to have an act of self-determination that meets international standards. Therefore, two other conditions could be considered. One is a United Nations peacekeeping force, and the other perhaps is some form of UN administration until the act of self-determination can be held. Thank you very much for your time.
Inside West Papua, across West Papua, they pray and everybody they support this event. So 45 years, Indonesia put our voice inside this coffin. But today, the voice of West Papua opened up through Andrew Smith and Lord Harris. People of West Papua, never forget, this is historical day. The voice now open up. Voice now open. Thank you.
Oh,
human rights of each of us are undermined if the human rights of somebody else are denied. And at the human level, you care about people or life's not worth living, and we care.